Narcissists are, by their very nature, notoriously, sneaky. Probably a better word would be manipulative, but they like to work behind the scenes. They want to keep you in the dark. They want to keep you confused. And what we want to do is turn the light on. So we're no longer kept in the dark and they're no longer working in the dark. So they understand that they can't function the way that they have been functioning, which is being sneaky, because we're going to find them out. Well, the question is, obvious question, is how are we going to do that? Well, here's what we do. Number one is we need to make sure that we show no fear when facing a narcissist, because we understand that chaos and confusion results in fear. So the narcissist loves to work in a state of confusion. At least you are thinking, getting you to think that you're in a state of confusion, because that is where he or she is at her strongest. So you may wonder, if you recall when you were having problems with your narcissist, and maybe you still are, you're wondering, man, what in the world is going on? So if this is a romantic relationship, you're thinking to yourself, this is not the way I thought things would work out. This is not the person that I thought he or she was. What in the world is going on here? It's so confusing. I'm not sure about being sure. That seems to be by design. Now, I'm not sure that the narcissist actually sits down and thinks to himself or herself, I'm going to cause confusion. Rather, I think it's more likely they just do it innately. They just do it naturally. It's part of being a narcissist, that causing confusion that they have discovered probably from their earliest days of life is the best way to manipulate people, is to cause havoc. Now, you probably worked with people like this. You know, there are people at the workplace. It seems like every place that I've ever worked, there's somebody, or maybe more than one somebody, who loves to fight with other people. They love to cause trouble. They love to cause problems because, well, that gives them a sense of control. And it's not just the workplace. You may have seen it in school. I know virtually every church I've ever attended, there's always somebody, typically a group of people who like to keep things in an uproar all the time. That gives them a sense of control. Look what I did. I muddied the waters. I must be in control. And in a sense, they're right. They are in control. So the narcissist in your life is muddying the waters. He is making things, or she is making things very, very confusing for you, and that gives her or him a sense of control of you. And it works. So what we want to do is we want to, okay, we're not going to play this game anymore. You go ahead and muddy the waters, and we're not going to run around like a chicken with its head cut off trying to figure out what is going on. And that's going to take the pleasure away from the narcissist, because his whole idea is to watch you in a state of confusion. But that's gone. So now it's not fun anymore. So you've taken away their toy. So number one is you don't want to show any fear when you're facing the narcissist. And you want to do that by undoing the confusion. And how we undo the confusion is number two, be the adult in the room. Sometimes literally be the adult in the room. So what we're saying is you need to ground yourself and separate yourself from the circumstances. Separate, stand back and take a look at what is going on here. We'll delve into that in just a moment in a little bit more detail. But what you need to do, or this is a suggestion, this is my idea, what I've learned in my life, is to learn to be objective. So the way that I like to phrase that is the objective is to be objective. So what is my objective? My objective when I'm dealing with a narcissist is to be able to stand back and rationally, without confusion, without my mind in a muddle, stand back and look at what is going on. But before I do that, I got to ground myself. Because, quite frankly, the narcissist, the psychopath, has got inside my head, got inside your head. And they're really good at this. So we need to get all that gunk out of our thinking. So, is there a process for that? Well, it depends on the circumstances. But you know, the idea is to refresh your mind by distracting yourself. So sometimes, I'll take a walk, I'll read a book, maybe watch a movie on television. I love to listen to music, and I get into the music, and so I'm kind of distracting myself from the circumstances. And I say it depends on the circumstances, because sometimes you are in a workplace or you are in a situation where it requires immediate action. And sometimes, just if you can just get away from this person, even for a few minutes, excuse yourself. I've got to go, use the restroom or whatever. Or I need to get something out of my car, just anything to break free from the circumstance. Now, this is not a time where you go and cry. This is a time where you go and think. So you need to get yourself, this is my opinion, you need to get yourself grounded. So clearing your mind. So now we're going to, again, the objective is to be objective. We're going to look at this as an individual who is very objective. So number 3 is this. With an objective mind, now we want to study the narcissist or study the psychopath. And here's how I do that. I imagine myself as a student, a psychology student, and my assignment is to observe and study the behavior of this psychopath, of this narcissist, of this individual. Or just kind of a little mind game you play with yourself. Another one is imagine yourself a reporter with a major newspaper. And your job is to covertly study and then write an article about this individual and their behavior patterns. Now, the idea of this little mind game is so that you can get yourself out of this situation emotionally. And now you're going to look at it rationally, and only rationally. And you're going to observe the narcissist, the psychopath's behavior, what he does, why he does it, and what tricks she seems to be using on you and other people. So what we're doing now, well, what happened to the intimidation? What happened to the confusion? What happened to the darkness, the murkiness of the water? Well, that's all gone because we're looking at it very objectively. So now we're approaching the narcissist without that fear, without that intimidation. And the narcissist can't help but to notice that she is no longer controlling you the way that she has in the past, the way that he has in the past. Number 4 is not only are we observing the narcissist and his or her behavior, but now let's, as a student, psychology student, or as a reporter, or whatever you want to use, you now are going to contemplate. Number 4, contemplate the dynamics of the situation, the dynamics of what is going on. And chances are, at least in the situations that I have been in, I'm pushing 70 years old and, 7 decades of life experience. I've gone through this a few times. And what I have noticed when working with narcissists is there's this thing of trauma bonding where initially, all was well. That we actually did a video on this, I think just yesterday. You might want to take a look at that. But initially, the love bombing, the grooming, and then in increments, the narcissist would begin to take that away and replace it with abuse. At first, you don't notice it, but you keep trying to get back to the love bombing stage, and the narcissist will let you go back there. The psychopath will let you go back there, but then take it away again. And so we're bound. It's almost like an addiction. We're bound to that first hit, when we were love bombed. We want to keep getting back there, so it is a bonding. A good illustration or analogy for this would be a fisherman who's got a fish on the hook. He's trying to reel him in. Maybe he's got a big bass. I don't know. So he reels the fish in, and then he lets him run. And then he reels him in, and then he lets him run. To the narcissist, to the fisherman, it's kind of a game. To the fish, this is not pleasant at all. So he reels in the fish, that's abuse, Said, no, I'm just playing. Let's go back to having fun. And it'll let you go, let you run. But you're still hooked. So the only way to get out of that is you've got to remove the hook so that you can run free. You can't let the narcissist continue to control you. So that effectively is what trauma bonding is all about. It's being hooked and being reeled in and swimming free. So what do we do? How do we shine the light on the narcissist? Well, we go through these 4 steps. Number 1 is we purpose to undo the confusion, or at least acknowledge the confusion. Number 2, get ourselves grounded by becoming the adult in the room, no longer the plaything of the narcissist. Number 3, study the narcissist, the psychopath, as if you were a student or a reporter for a newspaper. Make a project out of him or her. Then number 4, do the same for the whole situation. And what we come up with typically is, okay, this is a trauma bonding thing where they're playing with us. And now you've shown light on the narcissist. He understands it. The psychopath, they understand it. You are onto them. You are seeing them clearly as if it were the middle of the day, no murkiness, just bright. And the gig's up. They can't continue doing what they've been doing. Now, that's not to say all is well, because now they're going to, they're frustrated. This is where the smear campaign heats up. That's an entirely different story. But at least now we've got light on the narcissist.